Hello everyone, my name's Brian and this is Flies for Fishing. Today I'm going to be tying a cased caddis. I know there's lots of different variations of this. This just happens to be the variation that I like to tie. Oops, sorry, the focus isn't very good. Pretty simple little fly, not a lot to it. Um, I know there's, like I said, there's lots of different variations and kinds and things like that. So please leave a comment if there's a different variation that you tie, or shoot me a link or something. Show me what you got. But again, this is the way I tie it, and it's very successful. Using the size 12 wide gap hook, and I put about 12 wraps of 0.15 lead around it. Just using the chartreuse 6/0 uni thread. So go ahead and start the thread behind the index there, up and down, over the lead, a couple times to keep it in place, down around the bin just a little bit. And, don't have to go too far. Snip off the tag. This is a Chanel, just like a root beer or a rust Chanel, and I actually end up melting this, and it gives it that look. So I'll show you that. Strip a little bit off the end there. Go ahead and tie it in, and bring your thread wraps back up to about 2 or 3 eyes behind the head. Now, I use a little bit of super glue or Zap-A-Gap on this. It's just to keep it from spinning. Once you melt it, it kind of obviously turns into a hard plastic. So we just put that on there to keep it from melting. And then go ahead and start wrapping. Not necessarily touching wraps, but only about 1 millimeter or 2 apart, because you want it to be thick. So, and I kind of preen it back a little bit as I go. That way, kind of makes it all fluffy and everything. Be careful you don't get the super glue all over your fingers, which I do quite often, and then I stick to everything. Alright, then once you get up to where your thread is, go ahead and secure it. Try to keep everything preened back. Some behind, some in front. That's where the head's going to be, and go ahead and snip off the excess. Alright, and then I'll typically do a quick whip finish here, because when I go to melt it and burn it, I don't want to burn my thread and all that stuff. So, and then I cut my thread off. Alright, then I always take it out of the vise, and I use a pair of hemostats or things that clamp, just because I don't like to burn my vise. So you can see there, I just start burning it real slow all the way around, and I don't torch it too quick, because you want it to kind of all shrink in uniform there. Okay, on the butt. Don't do it too fast, because you want it to keep its shape. Alright. Sorry if I was kind of out of the camera angle there, but I just kind of burned it around into a big circle. Just a round, chubby bug. Alright, then when it cools, put it back in the vise. Okay, you can see it just kind of looks like just a big case. So start my thread again, just behind the eye. Run it back a little ways, and it's okay if you cover up some of the ends there, because you're going to be putting some legs on it, or some hairs. I'm not really sure what they're called. I call them legs, beard, whatever you want to call it. So I already have those pre-made, and all this is black hackle, just black hackle, and I got it in some hackle pliers there, or hackle holders there. And I don't like to create a dubbing loop with this because I think it creates too much bulk. So I use this is a neat little tool I've got. My brother actually turned me onto this. This is just basically a holder, a clamp holder, and on the end of it there, those are blow darts, like a blowgun dart. And I like it because it's got a really, really sharp point, and it's also got the flat for spreading resin and stuff like that. So. And it works great for splitting your thread because I don't have a thread splitter. So I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit here and poke that in there to spread the thread. You got to have much better eyes than I do. Sorry, this takes a second here. It's kind of a, well, you guys can speed through this if you want. All right. This thread is so tiny. It doesn't split very well. All right, we're going to try one more time here. I'm not going to waste all your time. I'll do it with a dubbing loop if I have to. There we go. Okay, we got it. All right, so split the thread just like that. Take your wax a little bit. I like to use a little bit of wax. It just helps hold it. So I just put it on my fingers, put a little bit on there, spread it on there so it holds that in there because these are really fine fibers. Put your hairs in there, close them in, then go ahead and spin your thread. And I spin it clockwise. You can spin it whichever way, but I typically like to go clockwise. And you can see the little fibers there sticking out and everything. So just go ahead and wrap that around. Bring them back and kind of back and down. And I'll show you what the deal is with that here in just a sec. So everything down and back. And I'm sorry I'm all fingers there, but you want to kind of go down and back. Okay, kind of tie that off. Down and back. Kind of everything at the bottom there. Kind of want to get everything towards the bottom. Okay. Keep going down and back. There we go. Now here I create kind of a big head. And the reason I do that is it's kind of the case. It's kind of like almost peeping out. Sorry, I'm cutting off some of these fibers that are going off all haywire on me. So it's kind of like it's peeking out a little bit. The bright chartreuse thread, and like I said, it's not perfect, but again, I tie flies for fishing, hence the name. And I just wrap everything up here. Nice bright head on it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, fish, they just like to eat. All right. I'm going to get my whip finish. The lighting on this, I apologize, the lighting on this seems to be terrible. My whip finish isn't quite cooperating either. Needs to be a little bit further back there. All right. There we go. So nice bright head. Clip the yarn, or the thread, I'm sorry, yarn. Good grief. Got a few little stragglers out of there. A little bit off the top. All right, and then I usually hold this back. Just burn the tip of that a little bit. Get those out of the way. A little resin on there. Resin on the head. I have one more trick after this, and then I'll be finished to show you. Okay. Hit it with the torch. I crowded that eye a little bit, but I still think I can get some tip it through there just fine. All right. After we hit it with the torch, man, the lighting in this is terrible. I got to get a new camera set up. All right, and then I take some nail polish, clear nail polish, and all I do is just kind of go over this a little bit. Don't have to coat the whole thing. You just kind of hit it randomly throughout there, and what it does is it gives it some shine on the tips there. So I'll just kind of go down through there, around the butt, on top. Like I said, you don't have to do a ton of it. And then just let it dry. So there you have it. My version of a cased caddis. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, please leave them. Hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.